The midnight bell tolled, its eerie sound echoing through the empty halls of the ancient castle. Aldric jolted awake, heart racing, sweat trickling down his brow. He could still hear the ghostly chime reverberating in his ears, a reminder of the dark past he desperately wanted to forget. He sat up, the shadows of the room closing in on him, and glanced at the clock. It was exactly midnight. Again. His mind raced. The bell had rung for him, but the rest of the world remained oblivious. He felt isolated, trapped in a nightmare that no one else could see. As he swung his legs over the edge of the bed, he whispered to himself, "Am I losing my mind?" The question hung in the air, heavy and suffocating. He stood up, shaking off the remnants of sleep, and made his way to the window, staring out into the dark abyss. The moonlight bathed the castle grounds in a silvery glow, but it did little to ease the tension coiling in his gut. Was he haunted by the ghosts of his past? Or was it all in his head, a manifestation of guilt that clawed at his sanity? He couldn't shake the feeling that something terrible was buried deep within those castle walls. As the weight of his thoughts pressed down on him, Aldric recalled the fire, the flames licking the sky, the cries of the children, and the bell ringing out in a cacophony of chaos. It felt like a lifetime ago, yet the memories were as vivid as the night he had burned the monastery. The king had ordered it, and Aldric had obeyed, but the price had been steep. He took a deep breath, forcing himself to remember. The monastery had stood for centuries, a sanctuary for the weary and the lost. But it had been a thorn in the king's side, a reminder of a rival heir. "You did what you had to do," he muttered to himself, clenching his fists. But guilt twisted his insides. The bell had rung during the fire, a haunting reminder of the lives lost. Aldric, a familiar voice called. It was Elara, his closest friend. She had been his anchor, the one who kept him grounded in reality. He opened the door to find her standing there, concern etched on her face. "You look pale." "Another nightmare?" "Yeah, just the same one," he replied, forcing a smile. The bell again. She stepped into the room, her eyes searching his. "You need to talk about it. Holding it in won't help." "I can't, Elara. You wouldn't understand." "Try me," she urged, crossing her arms. "I'm here for you, Aldric. You know that." He sighed, the weight of his secrets pressing down on him. "I burned the monastery. The king ordered it. Children died, Elara. I can still hear their screams." Her expression softened as she stepped closer. "You were following orders. You didn't want this to happen." "But I did it anyway," he whispered, guilt flooding through him. "What if the bell is their way of telling me I can't escape? What if they're still out there?" Elara shook her head, her voice firm. "You can't blame yourself for what happened. You need to find a way to let go." He nodded, but deep down, he knew it wasn't that simple. The bell rang again, and both of them froze. It was louder this time, more insistent, a call to action. Aldric felt a shiver run down his spine. "I need to find out what it means," he said finally, resolve hardening in his chest. "What do you mean?" Elara asked, her face pale. "I have to go back to the ruins of the monastery. I need to know the truth." "Are you sure that's a good idea?" she cautioned. "What if it's dangerous?" "Dangerous or not, I can't keep living like this. I need answers." There was a moment of silence as Elara weighed his words. Finally, she nodded. "All right, I'll go with you. But promise me you'll be careful." He smiled at her support, grateful for her presence. "I promise." As dawn broke, they made their way to the ruins. The air was thick with tension, the atmosphere heavy with unspoken fears. Aldric could feel the weight of the past pressing down on him, each step drawing him closer to the truth, and deeper into the shadows of his guilt. The ruins came into view, crumbling stone and twisted vine standing testament to the fire that had ravaged it. The bell tower loomed above them, a silent sentinel watching over the devastation. Aldric's heart raced as they approached, each footfall echoing the memories of that fateful night. "Are you ready?" Elara asked, her voice barely above a whisper. No, he admitted, but he stepped inside nonetheless. The darkness enveloped them, the air thick with dust and memories. He could almost hear the bell ringing, feel the heat of the flames. It was overwhelming. Look, Elara pointed to the ground. Footprints in the ash. Aldric knelt down, tracing the outline with trembling fingers. They're recent, he murmured, a chill creeping up his spine. Someone has been here. As they ventured deeper into the ruins, the atmosphere shifted. Shadows danced along the walls, whispering secrets of the past. Aldric felt as if the very stones were alive, watching him, judging him. Wait, Elara said suddenly, her voice tense. Do you see that? He turned to where she was pointing. A faint glow emanated from a crack in the wall. What is that? He asked, curiosity peeking alongside his dread. They approached cautiously, and Aldric's heart raced as he reached out to touch the stone. It crumbled under his fingers, revealing a hidden passageway. It's a crypt, he said, astonished. Elara looked at him, eyes wide. Should we go in? There could be answers in there, he replied, adrenaline surging through him. We have to. They descended into the crypt, the air growing colder with each step. The glow intensified, illuminating the space around them. As they reached the bottom, Aldric gasped. Coffins lined the walls, each etched with intricate designs. But what caught his attention was the bell in the center of the room, adorned with a royal crest. Look at that, Elara breathed, eyes widening. He approached the bell, heart pounding. This is the bell from the monastery. The inscription beneath it read, *, the crown fears the truth. *. Aldric's breath caught in his throat. This changes everything. What do you mean? Elara asked, stepping closer. The monastery wasn't rebellious, he said, realization dawning. It was inconvenient for the crown. They wanted to silence the truth. As he spoke, the weight of the past shifted. Aldric felt a flicker of hope amidst the guilt. Perhaps he could uncover the truth and find a way to atone for his sins. Suddenly, the ground trembled beneath them, and the bell began to ring, its sound reverberating through the crypt. Aldric stumbled back, fear gripping him. What's happening? Elara grabbed his arm. We need to get out of here. But Aldric couldn't move. The sound of the bell wrapped around him like a vice, pulling him deeper into the memories. He could see the fire, the chaos, the children. I can't leave, he gasped. I need to know. Aldric, please. Elara pleaded, her voice breaking through the haze. We have to go. With a sudden burst of clarity, he tore himself away from the bell's grasp. You're right. We need to leave now. They raced back through the passage, the sound of the bell fading behind them. As they emerged into the daylight, Aldric felt a mix of relief and dread. The truth was out there, but the danger was real. I can't shake this feeling, he said, glancing back at the ruins. What if the king finds out? Elara's expression hardened. Then we have to be prepared. We can't let him silence us again. Aldric nodded, determination surging within him. We need to gather evidence, find allies. We can expose the truth together. As they made their way back to the castle, Aldric felt the weight of the bell in his heart, a reminder of the sacrifices that lay ahead. The stakes were higher now, and he couldn't turn back. It was time to confront the king, to face the man who had ordered the destruction of innocent lives. As they entered the castle, Aldric's heart raced with anticipation and dread. He had made his choice, and there was no going back. He needed to confront the king, to expose the truth that had been buried for too long. Elara, he said, his voice steady. Are you ready? Ready as I'll ever be, she replied, determination shining in her eyes. The throne room was grand and imposing, the air thick with tension as they approached the king. He sat on his throne, regal and powerful, but Aldric could sense the underlying fear. The king's gaze flicked to them, a flicker of recognition sparking in his eyes. Aldric, the king said, his tone measured. What brings you here? "Your Majesty," Aldric began, his voice steady despite the turmoil inside him. "We need to talk about the monastery." The king's expression hardened. "I have no interest in revisiting the past. But the truth needs to come out." Aldric pressed, stepping closer. The bell, it wasn't a sign of rebellion. It was a warning, a reminder of the lives lost because of your orders. The king's eyes narrowed, the tension palpable. "You dare accuse me of wrongdoing?" "I'm not accusing you, I'm exposing the truth." Aldric shot back. "Children died because of your decisions. The bell rings for them, a cry for justice." Elara stepped forward, her voice unwavering. "The crown fears the truth, and it's time for the people to know what really happened." The king's facade of calm began to crack. "You think you can challenge me? You're a fool, Aldric." "No," Aldric replied, voice rising. "I'm a man seeking atonement. The kingdom deserves to know the truth, and I won't let fear silence me any longer." The confrontation escalated, words flying like daggers. The king's anger simmered, but Aldric stood his ground, fueled by the weight of his past. He felt the bell's resonance in his chest, a reminder of the lives lost and the truth that needed to be uncovered. "You are playing a dangerous game," the king warned, his voice low and menacing. "You tread on thin ice." Aldric's resolve only strengthened. "Then I'll pull the rope. I'll expose the truth, no matter the cost." The king's expression shifted, a flicker of uncertainty crossing his face. "You would risk everything for this?" "Yes," Aldric replied, heart pounding. "I would sacrifice it all for justice." The silence that followed was deafening. Aldric could feel the tension crackling in the air, the weight of their confrontation hanging heavily between them. Suddenly, the bell rang out again, its sound echoing through the castle. Aldric's blood ran cold. It was louder, more insistent, as if urging him to take action. "This is it," he thought. "This is the moment." "Aldric!" Elara shouted, pulling him back to reality. "We need to make our choice." In that moment, everything came into focus. He had a choice to make: release the rope and preserve the order, or pull it and expose the truth, risking everything. "Aldric," Elara said, her voice steady. "You know what you have to do." He took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the world on his shoulders. "I will pull the rope," he declared, determination surging through him. The truth must come out, no matter the cost. With that, he reached for the rope, heart racing as he prepared to unveil the darkness hidden within the castle walls. The ground shook, and the castle trembled as the walls began to collapse around them. Aldric's heart raced as he pulled the rope, the sound of the bell ringing louder than ever. "This is it," he shouted, adrenaline coursing through his veins. The king's eyes widened in horror. "What have you done?" As the castle crumbled, Aldric felt a surge of power coursing through him. The truth was finally breaking free, and he was ready to face the consequences. The walls around them fell, dust and debris flying through the air as the bell rang out one final time. In that moment, Aldric knew he had made the right choice. The bell survived, a symbol of the truth that would endure beyond the destruction. As darkness enveloped him, he felt a sense of peace wash over him. In the aftermath, the kingdom lay in ruins, but the truth had been set free. The people gathered, their voices rising in remembrance of those lost. Aldric's sacrifice had not been in vain. Reform began to take root as the names of the lost echoed through the air. Years passed, but the memory of that fateful night remained etched in the hearts of the people. The bell, once a sign of guilt, became a symbol of justice, rung yearly in remembrance of the innocent. Aldric had paid the ultimate price, but his legacy endured. The truth had triumphed over silence, and the kingdom began to heal. As the camera panned out, the bell tolled once more, a haunting melody that echoed through the air. It was a bittersweet reminder of the past, a call to remember and never forget. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more captivating tales. Your support means the world to us, and we can't wait to share more with you. Thank you for watching, and remember, the truth always finds a way to ring out, no matter how deep it's buried.